Hi everybody. I know I've missed you. I'm thinking you've missed me, but I've been doing some crazy freezing and canning of goods from the garden and everything else. And every time I do something, I go, oh, I've got to video this for them. I've got to show them. But I'm in such a process, and it's always, I'm doing so many at the same, like I'll do a ton of salsa, or I'll do a ton of this and a ton of that. And so what I did, I'm doing a little variety thing of showing you how to freeze a few different things tonight. First of all, I'm going to show you this. I just did another 13 jars of salsa today. Yep. That's fantastic. Great. So tonight I'm going to show you how to freeze 3 different things. I know I've talked about it and we've been excited about hearing about it. And then whenever I talk to you about these things, then people always ask me questions like, hey, I like your tip. I like this and that. But it would be nice to see it. So I'm going to show you how to freeze 3 different things. I'm going to show you how to freeze peppers. I know I've told you, but I haven't shown you. I'm going to show you how to freeze different kinds of tomatoes in a little bit different way, and I'm going to show you how to freeze squash. So first of all, I'm going to get right to task here and bend right down on my cutting board, and hopefully you're good there. So the first thing is just grab any kind of pepper. I mean, I haven't frozen any hot peppers, but it can be done, I'm sure. And just make sure you label your bags. You need to cut them, pull out all the seeds, and devein them. As you can see, get the vein out of them. As if you're going to cook with them tonight. You're going to treat them exactly as if you were going to cut them to be cooking with tonight. And then what you do is, I call it julienning. I'm not sure what you call it, but I just kind of make them shards, julienne, whatever you want to say, like this. And like as if I'm cooking with them tonight. I'm aware of any little bad spots on them. Grab those, kick them off just like you would. I mean, you're doing exactly as if you were cooking with them tonight. So just random little pieces, julienne, shards, whatever you want to call them. Here you go. So there you are. And that's what you do. So the first beginning is, and I do all the peppers together, and I do them on a baking sheet like this. And I put it in the freezer, and as you can see, they've got a little frost on them. And I just quickly go like this if they're stuck on there or not, which I just brought them in, and there's a wood stove going, so they got unstuck pretty fast. The reason for doing this is you don't want them to stick together. You don't want any, because if you try to take them out of this container and they're stuck together, then you just got a ball of a whole giant ball in your hand of peppers, and that's not going to do you any good. I always try to keep, as you could see when I started there, I keep different colors on the same tray so that my bag is colorful of different colors. And literally, that is all there is to freezing peppers. You wait about an hour. It takes about an hour to get them with that frost on them. Then you just bring them right in and put them in the bag. The reason for putting them in the bag is because they're a wet thing. And if you put them all together the way they are, they would be wet and then they would stick together. So I would continue cutting this, etc., and julienning it, filling up, as you can see, the whole thing like I did before. I'm going to put some yellow. I've got some orange and some green to put on this tray. I keep my trays colorful, and that's how I fill that up. So I'm going to put this over here so that when you go to the freezer, literally you just get to, pretend that I'd already had this in the freezer. You get to just pull it open like this, pull out what you want, throw it into your container, close it back up. I do have those sealable bags for peppers, and they can be put in those seal bags. If you want to take the time to measure out, say that you always use a cup in your recipes, then you want to measure out a cup, and you can use your process sealing, your food sealing system, whichever yours is. Mine's Food Saver. Everybody's is a little bit different. And you can do the pulling out. Now that it's frozen and there's no wetness to them anymore, you can pull the air can be pulled out of them, and they will actually seal. They wouldn't before because, of course, peppers have water in them, and I would have just kept trying to suck all the water out, and they never would have sealed. The only reason why I don't do that is because I don't measure, and I use them for so many different things that I prefer to go in the freezer, open a Ziploc bag, pull out how much I need, pull the air back out of it again, and I literally just toss it right back in the freezer with whatever's left in it. So that's one of my favorite things to do. The second thing we're going to work on here, and it's almost ready, so I'm gonna get you back down here, is we're gonna talk about buttercup. and butternut squash. And squashes and pumpkins are the same process. My favorite is the buttercup, always will be. It's dry. I don't like those, you know those ones in the store, that kombucha or whatever? Oh God, they're all wet and they're yucky. A lot of people like them. I do not at all. I'm a dry squash girl. So the process for this is to cut it in half, literally bang it down in half, down the middle. I usually have a much bigger knife to do the cutting of the start to cutting, but that's okay. And then give yourself some workable pieces here, triangles, whatever you want to call them, workable size triangles. And then, and you go, and so on. You go down through the whole squash like that. Then you pull out the seeds very quickly. And it's just really quick and easy. This is, I did 14 of these the other night until about 10:30 at night. I made 7 quart bags. And once this part is done, oops, I got a little dirt on that because they were dirty from the ground. And you just quarter them. Not quarter them, you just chunk them. Excuse me, not quarter, chunk. Just chunk them, random chunks. Total random chunks. And this is the exact same process for pumpkins and the exact same process for butternut. Butternut looks like a nut. You can see that shape of that butternut, and I'll show you what it is again so you can differentiate one more time. Make sure, if you're like, I always get mine from Kelly Belial in Highgate. I go there every year, and then this year I also happened to stop in because I needed corn on the cob for my salsa, so I stopped into Hartman's, and they were having a sale of a bushel for $20, which is a fantastic price. I got them for $3 a piece at Kelly's, which is good as well if you get the right size ones. The bigger ones are $5 a piece. Tip on that, the longer you wait, sometimes she puts her prices down. I've gotten some pumpkins at $1 before if I've waited long enough, so hard to say. And there you go, you just keep chunking them like that. Okay, and so then what happens is you put it in the steamer, which is what's going on over here. Let me check to see. It should be just about ready, and they are. See how they're fork ready? Yep, fork ready. See? Just as if you're going to serve it for dinner right now. So, I'm going to have to put you down for a minute. So, I happen to know, because I've done so many of these, that I'm in the same space here, so I'm working in some very limited space. I happen to know that this strainer right here in my thing, one of those full always equals a quart bag. So the second thing that you do, and I'm going to shut this off right now because I normally would just have another one to put right behind it, and I just keep emptying this out and filling that up and emptying. I just go back and forth. I've got other things to show you, so I'm only going to do this one in front of you right now. You just dump it in here. Ooh, it's hot. Got the steam going in my direction here, dummy. Here we go. Dump it in your bowl. And I mean, every one of these things are so quick and simple to do, and you are giving yourself the most amazing flavors in the middle of winter. I've not bought a single squash from the store. Remember how we talked about the fact that you don't buy, on the absolutely have to, you don't buy what they call fresh vegetables and fruits in the middle of winter, because who knows how long that they've traveled and how far they've come and what they've gotten on them to preserve them. So this is a good way of keeping your flavors and still getting to eat all the good things. And then you just mash it. Smash and mash. That's it. Just like you used to for potatoes before we got beaters years ago. You just mash it. And once it's mashed, you don't put any flavors in it. You're not going to do anything with it, because I could do anything with this. This could be on this as a side dish on my Thanksgiving dinner. This could make a squash pie. This could also make a squash soup. So I don't do anything to it. It goes in the bag just like that. I take a bag, a quart bag like this. I write the word squash on it because I'm going to have a bunch that are going to be pumpkin as well. So I want to make sure I differentiate what I've got in the bag. I just dropped my pen. And I got to grab a spoon. And here we go. And that's all you do. That's how easy it is. we're just filling this bag up. As you can see, I'm trying to see if I can push it down a little bit more here. Just filling this bag up, and I always know that one of these over here, this, oh, right there, a full thing from my steamer, a full, one full container of the steamer always is one bag in here, so I know that I can fill a bag up and move on to the next one, always just that same way. It's very cool. And again, there's so many things we're going to do with this. It could be pies, it could just be right at the table. I can add syrup and butter to, you know, unthaw it, warm it up. Once it's unthawed, just warm it up in a saucepan, add some syrup, butter, salt, and pepper. Oh man, brings you right back to fall every time when you finally get these out of the garden. Fantastic. So there you go. And then you just, you know, clean it off on the top, clean it up so that you know for sure that it's going to seal. I always get as much air out of it as possible. I always sneak in this corner and get as much air as possible right out of it. Seal it up. Then I go like this. I check one more time to make sure my seal is done, and it is. And I pile them like this. I squish it down to the square so it takes less, like a ball like that takes up a lot of area in your freezer. But if you pile them up high like this, like little books, you've got a lot of area in your freezer to use. So that is number 2 thing I wanted to show you. The number 3 thing is, and my water's over here boiling like crazy, so tomatoes. I want to show you a couple of different tomatoes. All we do is stick them into some boiling water, which I feel bad because now the water's been boiling this whole time. And all I'm going to do is, hold on. Okay, all I'm going to do is wait for those skins to pop. As soon as those skins pop, we're pulling them out. So I'm going to lift you up here for a second to me. I know I haven't been showing you very much here. I've just been going back and forth. Tim, I really wished he was here to video, but he's making me some raised beds right now, so I can only have them in one place at a time. While we're waiting for that to boil and pop the skin on them, the cherry tomatoes, as you can see, and I took one right out of the freezer so I could show you because I'm all out of cherry tomatoes right now. All I do is wash them and dry them because you don't want them to stick together. Wash them, dry them, and when they're dried, you stick them in a Ziploc bag like this. This has been in the freezer for I don't know how many weeks because it's been any time this summer. I tried to differentiate. I can see that I did get a little yellow and gold one in there with the other ones. I try to have one bag all red cherry tomatoes and one bag the gold, the golden, yellow and gold ones. And then all I do is open it when I go for stir fry, and I just throw them in the soup or the stir fry or the whatever, and I just Ziploc my bag back up again and put it right back in the freezer. So these, they couldn't be easier. Just make sure they're clean because I know they hit the ground all the time. And you put that right back in the freezer. So the tomatoes that are going right now, and I'll show them to you as they are boiling. They're starting to boil. There you can do. I'll try to get you a look at that right there. I know you're probably getting motion sickness at this point. I need to give myself another bowl here and a cutting bowl. And then I literally just, as you can see, they're probably getting ready to pop their skins right now. So I need a bowl of very cold water to stop that process, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm getting, while you're looking at that boiling, I'm getting this cold. Ultimately, what you'd really love to have, ultimately the best thing to have is a bowl of ice water. It stops it even faster. But I only have so much ice in the freezer, and I didn't get down to buy a bag of ice, so I'm just using really cold water for today. But the whole idea is you really would like to have ice water. So those should start popping right now. I should see a couple of them that are, yep, here's one. As you can see the skin is popped. And I'm putting it over here in this cold water. I'm gonna go grab a few pieces of ice though. Ultimately, the idea is when I do this, I usually go down and buy a bag of ice so I have ice on hand. See how these have all popped? There you go. That's all you want. You don't want to cook them down. You just want them to pop open, which takes about a minute. As you can see, it didn't take much more than a minute. Turn that fan off so I don't feel like I feel like I'm hollering over it all this time. Okay, so there we go. A couple still left behind. I'll leave them there for a minute. I'm going to add more water to that in a minute because I'm going to do another type of tomato. I'm going to show you 2 more types of tomatoes. So to review while we're waiting for them to get a little chilly for right now is the squash that we did. This was buttercup, and this is only half, not even, yeah, this is half. Here's the other part. We just started cutting it again. Buttercup, and this is butternut and squash. We do them all the same way by cutting them and getting all the seeds out. And yeah, that's what we do. It's really quite simple. Now I need my, here we go. Whoops, another one has popped here. Coming over, putting it in the water. Can you see where I am over here? Putting it over. I'm gonna put more water in there. There's 2 of these that, oh, this one popped here. And there's one more just about ready to pop, and I'm gonna take it out because I really need to have that water I need to add to that water so I can get it higher because I want to show you a couple of other types of tomatoes and how easy they are. This is just your random tomato, your random early girl, or any of those that I've got going on right here. And I always do the same thing with these. I take these, and it's going to be a little bit warm right now, but I have a container on the side here. I always have my cuttings and everything in, and I'm just literally, as you can see, I just slipped off the skin that was still holding on. See that I did that? And I just stand here literally, and I'm being very generous and random in this cut. I'm just standing here being, I mean, you know, I probably, if you wanted to do it this way, you'd be feeling better off. I've done it for so many years that I'm not worried about cutting my hand. It's something I've done regularly. And see how they're just chunks? And that's what I'm doing. Again, I'm just letting the peel fall off in my hand, going in for the stem, getting that out, popping that out, and then just randomly cutting. Total random cutting. This is awesome. I can't wait to show you what I do with this. This is so, I mean, this process takes, like, if I'm doing it, I'm usually doing a whole bunch of tomatoes at once, so it'll take a couple of hours to do as many as I do. But I'm, you know, I'm getting back into canning. As you can see, I just canned the salsa, and that's fun. I haven't canned in 20 years. The salsa is easier because it's water bath and not using the pressure canner. I know how to use the pressure canner. I just haven't done it for a long time. And so it's something I do want to get back into, though. But to be honest with you, jars have been hard to get by this year. I've put a word out more than once to people, and they've been awesome. Hey, come and get these. Or Tim has found more than once on sale on Facebook. And God bless Rebecca Morey. While I was watching all the kids the other day, because she had some errands and things she wanted to do, I swapped. I took her daughter to play here with me because my grandchildren were visiting that day. And I watched the kids while she ran, and she got them in Franklin for me. And so jars are hard to come by, so I'm not doing a lot of canning. I'm like, of course, my jams and jellies, absolutely. I mean, you don't want to forget that, of course. But salsa, and I'm thinking, what I've been doing lately is my spaghetti sauce. I've even been freezing that. So what I do is, you've seen the spaghetti sauce, you have the recipe. I've done it months and months and months and months ago, back in spring last year, but you have the spaghetti sauce recipe. And I've cooked that, and then I take it and, by the way, I use the summer tomatoes because they're fresh when I'm making it. Always out of the summer tomatoes, but not these that are in my hand right now. I'll show you which ones in a minute. And then I take the spaghetti sauce I make, and I take gallon Ziploc bags. You've seen I've been using the quart right now, but I take the gallon size, and I just fill it halfway, and I suck all the air out of there that I can by, you know, folding it over, making sure there's as little air as possible, and then I fold it like a book, so it's a very thin book. So I'm using a whole gallon bag even though I've only filled it up halfway, but then I'm able to make it a thin book size kind of thing, and they stack one right after the other right on top of each other in the freezer, and they take up very little space. I will probably start canning some. I haven't canned it for a while. I've been doing it in the freezer, but to be honest with you, I'm pretty much running out of freezer space now. So are you watching how I'm just randomly cutting these? Okay, and so now that part is done. And so then I grab my Ziploc bag. I always do these in a quart because I can these in the quart size, and all I do is when I'm building a soup or a stew or something, I just grab the gallon bag out of the freezer, and it's a huge giant hard rock gallon bag, and I just take that gallon bag and I peel this, and it's, you know, it's a lot of, it's everything in here. See how this is? It's water and everything else. It's all of the tomato. It's the whole tomato. You haven't lost anything this way except the skin, which you're supposed to. And I go, like I say, I take it frozen, and I go and I put it in a pot, like one of these pots that we're using right here today, and I open it. I peel it off because it won't come off the regular way because of how it is. I peel it off, and it's a big giant ice cube, and I put it in the middle of the pot, and then I build my soup or my spaghetti sauce or my whatever around it. Well, this is the whole thing. This is how it starts out. This is the only one you can't press really flat like everything else. I double, triple check this though to make sure I'm good. I rinse them, and I lay them like this. That's as flat as it goes, but you can get quite a few in there like this. And that's how I do my regular tomatoes. Now I'm going to show you a special kind of tomato here that you're really going to like. This is really kind of cool. These are the tomatoes. I just want to get some new water. The tomatoes I'm about to show you, there's a couple different kinds here. The ones I'm going to show you are my Aunt Peggy just brought me today, which was such a beautiful gift. I'm so excited. We were talking this morning on the phone, and I was talking about how I was looking for tomatoes, and Tim had gone up to Steve Briganti's and gotten me some tomatoes, and that I was out, and my Aunt Peggy said, "Oh, you need tomatoes." And when I laid down this morning because I wasn't feeling that great, and when I woke up, they were at the door. So it was like quite a surprise. It's taken me a while to figure out who left them there, and it had to be my Aunt Peggy, so I'm going to call her afterwards and let her know how excited I am. So these are what she brought me. I'm going to have to pull this aside for a minute. I can't wait to show you these. They're very exciting. These, see? These are awesome for sauces. Spaghetti sauce, tomato sauce. I'm asking Dawn if she would share her marinara sauce recipe with me. Definitely. So this is what we're doing next. These go in exactly for a minute, so I'm being really quick at putting them in there because we only want them in for a minute because we don't want them cooked at all. Zero, none. We just want them to go in for a minute. I want to put a timer on with them when they start boiling. And then we're going to pull them right back out really quickly, almost as fast as we put them in there. We're going to pull them right back out. And I'll show you how super quick and easy these are to freeze. It's so much fun. If all of them were this fast and this easy. I mean, you saw how fast the other tomatoes were already, but these are even more fun. There we go. I'm going to get ourselves ready over here. As you can see, I've got my water over here. Ready, my water. I'm going to put the timer on here. Oops, they're not boiling yet. Those, I believe, they weren't from my garden, but I'm assuming they're called plum. See how awesome they are? So now they're starting to boil. I'm going to put a timer on, timer 100 timer. Get that going up there. And I only want them in here a minute. And you'll see how cool that these are to really to work with. And then I've got some other tomatoes here while I am chatting. These came from Steve Briganti, and he, oh my God, he grows everything. Look at these. Talk about some amazing tomatoes. So we're gonna do these in a minute too. I'm gonna try to use the same process I use on those. I don't think these are gonna be cut up. These to me look like a larger version of those. So they should be able to do the same thing. I think these are plum. I don't know, I didn't ask him. Tim just came home with 2 boxes of them, and again, I want to use some of them for Dawn Miller's marinara sauce, because I asked her for her recipe last night, and I'm hoping that she's able to share with me, so it's kind of exciting. The timer's almost done on these over here. Again, I've got cold water. I've got cold water to put them in. Now, Steve Brigante is the one that I was cooking them I was cooking these until the skins popped, just like the other tomatoes. And he said to me the other day, or said to Tim the other day, no, you just put them in for a minute on the timer. And so we're going to try that. We're putting them in for a minute on the timer. They're coming out of the water right now. And I'll show you what I'm doing with these. Because he said these you don't want to cook. Like the other ones got a little bit cooked while waiting for the skins to pop. These are not supposed to. These are supposed to just be in for a minute and out. And I can see a few of them have had the skins pop. So I did wait for a little bit too long here. That's okay. The cool part about this is, here we go. See how you got them all over here in the cold water bath? I'm going to throw a little ice in there. Throw the ice in because you'd be surprised how hot these things are to handle. Okay, and here's my bowl that I'm cutting them into. I want to show you how cool and easy this is. I'm going to pull you back a little bit. Quick. You just pop the top and push them out. Now this one had a little bruise on it, so that one didn't come out so easily. Let me give you one that didn't have a bruise or anything. Here we go. Pop the top and squeeze them out. Bam. These are so much fun to do. Pop the top, squeeze them out. You can go through a whole box of these in no time at all. Look at that. I'm going to show you. Pop the top and squeeze it out. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Awesome. This is like, if all tomatoes were this easy to do. But you want to keep them in this kind of form because these are more, you know, like for the thick sauces. Like the other ones I just did are really, I like them loosey-goosey for the soups and stuff. But when you're making thick sauces like marinara or spaghetti or anything like that, you really kind of want them like this. So pop the top in, and this is literally all you do. And from here, you just fill a bag with them. So, isn't this cool? So I'm going to put these that we were just looking at a minute ago, I'm going to put a few of these there because the water's boiling nicely. And I'm going to see what happens. Well, that one doesn't, I think I need to add more water to it because it needs to boil. It's funny because I'm either always adding water to the cold bath or I'm always adding water to the hot one. And once you get going on this, you get a rhythm to it, you know, but I'm trying to do so many different things at the same time that it's kind of hard. But once you're going and you've got a complete rhythm and, you know, you've always got something cooking over there and you'll come and squeeze these out. And the next thing is cooking and you'll squeeze these out. Like with the squashes, I start out with one already cut and cooked and one always setting behind it. And so I've got different degrees, but I have a rhythm where I'm always, that one I'm not so excited about. I'm going to cut the side off of this one. I don't think it's a bruise. I just don't think it's, it got all the way. It doesn't have a bruise or anything on it, but it doesn't feel, yeah, I'm going to toss that one out. I'm not sure about that one. Isn't it kind of cool the way this is? So, yeah, I mean, so fun. Everything I've just showed you is so easy. I mean, you can do a night of just squashes. You can do a night of, you know, come in with a garden, pull all your peppers. You got to pull them now anyways because of the frosts that are going on. You know, pull them and it takes you no time at all to just quickly process. And look how quickly and easily everything gets processed here. And then these are so fun. I don't know if this is the same one or not, the same type. Let's see. Yep, it came out that way. It just was a little bit fatter. Then, again, I take my bag. I don't need to write tomatoes on because I can clearly see by sight they are. Which is really cool how these are here because they stand up. They stand in this wonderful, look at this, how round they stay. I just put them right in this bag and they stay round like this. So I know that when I'm making my thick sauces and stuff, see? When I'm making my thick sauces, I grab these. and spaghetti sauces and stuff. When I'm making soups, just a minute, I want to go put some tomatoes in the water now that it's boiling again. I want to see if these bigger ones from Steve have the same kind of consistency when they're, he said, let's wait till it boils and then put it on the one again. So here is a really nice bag. And I'm going to put that sauce in there because I don't want to lose that. I don't like to lose anything from the tomato, as you can see. And here's this really, I'm going to add more to this one. It's not quite full, but look, you can see the round, thick, round pieces. And so there's quite a difference between this bag that I just randomly chopped to be able to do soups and stews and whatever. And you can see this one where the round pieces are that you're ready to use them for tomato sauces and marinaras and stuff. So definitely there's a couple of different ways here. Now I'm just putting the timer on for the 1 minute on the ones we put in that came from, whoops, silly me. Timer 1, 0, 0. And let me get some cold water again because this really isn't cold enough. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to bringing in your garden and getting it all in the freezer or canning. I really would like to show you the not the marinara. I really would like to get Don Miller's marinara. I can't wait for that. I really, however, would like to show you I did it again, not marinara. I would really like to show you the salsa recipe, but that happens to be my aunt's and I haven't gotten her permission yet to share. So I have not shared that yet, only not because I don't want to, but because obviously I haven't gotten her permission. And I share recipes when I get permission. So this, I put a few of these in here just to see if this is going to be the same 1 minute rule. You can see that they weren't really clean though. Look at the dirt coming up off the bottom of them. But I mean, I take each night, instead of sitting at the TV or whatever, I actually take my evening and process something. I'll process one night, you know, like here's some more of these I've got left to do. I'm going to have those done today before I go to bed. Tomatoes, this and that. I take my night and I process something differently each night. I've lost maybe a dozen tomatoes and like something will happen during a day and I can't do it that day and I have to wait till the next day. So over the course of the summer, I've lost between 12 and 20 tomatoes. But if you figure that's all I've lost in the entire summer, I'm not going to complain, I suppose. Okay, here we go. They are ready. So I don't know how these are going to come out. I assume that they're just a bigger version of the ones we just did. So I'm going to try to flip the tops off of these and see what happens. Definitely going to flip the tops off of these. And just like I did the other ones, I'm going to go grab a little bit of ice. There we go. Put you down for a minute. As you can see, there's your bath. I'm going to go get a little ice because they're going to be hot, hot, hot. Now you can see, remember when I showed you how to process zucchinis, however, for storage in the freezer, that was different. That was, we had to get out the food processor and we had to process them differently. They can't just be done like this. So okay, I'm popping the top and seeing if they're good. Yep, they're the same. They're just a bigger version. Pop the top and kick it right out. Amazing. That one didn't come all the way off. Oh my goodness, this is so easy. I have a couple of boxes of these to process quickly, so these will go really fast. I dare say I might run out of room in the freezer. I don't know. That one I cut a little broadly because there was a boo-boo on the top of it. It had a problem. But see, I just cut the top off. These don't seem to have the thicker core down the center of them that the other regular tomatoes have. I can pop the tops right off and that takes care of most of the core. Right, there's one. Are you seeing it? Am I giving you enough? Can you see it? I'm just popping the top and just pushing it with my thumb. Popping the top and pushing it. So yeah, I'm going to fill one more bag with these and then I got to stop for a minute and make dinner. I have no idea what I'm really, I have some minute steaks for dinner. I'm going to do my brother Michael, and then again I'm just going to put these as big and beautiful as they are in Ziploc bags, close it, and perfect for whenever I'm ready to cook. I'll open them up and it'll be just like I'm in the middle of summer again and I'm grabbing tomatoes from the garden. That's how good they are. You cannot believe what a difference it is to bake and cook and all kinds of stuff with the tomatoes and the stuff from the garden, the freezer. I know canning is fantastic, and I used to can years ago. The flavor's a little bit different. I like the freezer. It still keeps that integrity. But this has ended up being a long video. Sorry about that, guys. But I've shown you how to freeze peppers, squashes, butternut, buttercup, and pumpkins. They're all done the exact same way. And different flavors or different types of tomatoes. So this is a pretty long video, but pretty full of information for you. And like I said, you can put everything down, stack them like I showed you with the spaghetti sauce. Fill that gallon bag only half full, then lay it, and it'll be paper thin, about this thin, and it'll lay like you can lay one right on top of the other. And you'd be surprised how much storage space you got in your freezer when you've got everything stacked like that. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you guys try everything out. I know you were asking. Thanks for the tips, but it would be nice to see what it looked like or whatever. So there you go. Keep sending me those notes. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you want to learn. If there's anything from your garden you haven't processed yet because you don't know how, send me a note. I'll tell you how to do it. I'll show you how to do it. I won't just tell you. Okay? Thanks. Bye, guys.